Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Genuine Chit-Chat. This week my guest is Steph, or better known as her YouTube name, Steph The Crab. Now I've known Steph for many years. We actually went to secondary school together, which we do touch on in the podcast. This is another quite a long conversation, so this is part 1 of 2. Part 2 should be released next week at the same time. And this chat was an absolute joy. I mean, Steph is, as you'll hear, is an incredibly happy and nice person. We do discuss, quite a wide variety of things in this podcast. One of the things we talk about specifically is actually if you came confetti, as in when the male or female ejaculate, if confetti or glitter shot out, which is quite a funny thing to think about. We also talk about challenge videos and some of the things that she does on YouTube, as well as cannabis legalization, crazy stories about work and places we've worked in retail and things like that, bullying, cartoon characters, hairy people, sexuality, just in general. It's a wide variety of things, but it doesn't just stick to YouTube. We only actually talk about Steph's YouTube stuff for a few minutes, so even if you don't know who she is YouTube wise, it's still a great conversation. The episode I released a couple of weeks ago, because last week I wasn't about, was to do with transgender, and it was me, Reese and Josh discussing our perspectives on the whole transgender movement, gender pronouns and that sort of thing. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, make sure you go do that. And as I said, next week is going to be part 2 of Steph The Crab. And there's not really much else to say on this episode, just give it a listen, see what you think. Also a shout out to Issa of the Young, Free and Coupled podcast. He's just a great guy. I really recommend you guys go check out the Young, Free and Coupled podcast, especially if you're British. It's a grounded perspective on life. It's just really, they're down to earth. They're both great people. Issa especially Issa, I'm being terrible with his name. I do apologise, Issa. And he's just absolutely fantastic. I can't recommend them enough. And also coming up next is a promo just before we get started from Podcast 42, so make sure you check that out. And then it'll be straight onto the show. Thanks as always, guys, and I'll be back at the end.
Podcast 42 promo, take 1.
Do things pop into your head randomly?
Yes.
Do you want to learn about stuff that happened in history, but nothing that's important in history?
Yes.
Do you want to have everybody laugh at everything you say?
No.
Well,
Then become a comedian.
Podcast 42 promo, take 2.
Have you ever wanted a podcast to tell you it loves you?
No.
Nor have we at Podcast 42.
Podcast 42 promo, take 3.
Don't be sad, be glad. We're here at Podcast 42 to entertain you.
It'll be the brightest hour of your week.
We might make you cry, laugh,
Maybe both at the same time.
but we won't make you poop your pants.
Podcast 42 promo, take 4. Oh, why don't you guys just give it up already?
And you can find us on all the stuff that you find other podcasts on, all of it. Also find us in our podcast group, the official Podcast 42 group on Facebook, and you can find us on the web at podcast42show.wordpress.com.
Come listen to us. We're Podcast 42.
Podcast 42 show.
Know the email address.
You came up with the email address.
we are podcast 42 show at gmail.com.
And you couldn't remember that.
Welcome to Genuine Chit-Chat, where we have honest conversations with interesting people. And I'm your host, Mike Burton.
Was the place who gave out free lamps on Gumtree.
Well, that's the thing, because that lampshade and that lampshade are both from, this woman gave us 2 lamps, or a lamp with 2 lampshades, and that lampshade was on that initially, so I just swapped them over, because this light was so goddamn harsh.
That's a bit big, isn't it, for that one?
Yeah, it's people, I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, I am here with Steph. I'll start
Oh, we
recording.
started now.
Subtle.
Brilliant, that's
how I do.
fine.
That's how I do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, basically, we knew each other, let me think, secondary school, and we haven't really spoken for 7 years, I think it was, except for today and briefly in Messenger. So how have you been in 7 years? Summarise it, 2 words. Go.
Bollocks, but good, I guess.
That's a good way of doing it. God, there's so many things to talk about.
It's been a while. It's been a heck of a long
It's been
time.
a very long time.
Very
yeah,
long
I mean, a
time.
lot happens in 7 years.
I mean, I swear we not hate each other, but because that's a bit of a harsh word. But I think we used
didn't
to
get
fight
along.
like cat and dog, didn't we?
yeah, we definitely didn't get along in school. But then again, I didn't get along with most people in school. You know, very few people in Chamberlain liked me, except for the very end of the year, the end of year 11. I remember I was talking to Joel Whitfield and Charlotte Edwards in the in the French class. I think it was like a week or two away from school finishing, and I mentioned in passing something about people not liking me, and they're like, "We like you. You're just a bit of a dick." I was like, "What?" And then it was this big thing. I was like, everyone was actually kind of alright with me. I was just an asshole. I was like, well, fair enough. You know, I kind of was, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I want to get you on here was because you're doing YouTube stuff.
Okay.
And well, let's start with that. Like, what's your channel called? What do you do? And why'd you
Okay, so my channel's called Steph The Crab. I do not know why. I'm not even. I was born in February, so I'm not. You know, my star sign isn't even Cancer, so I have no idea what the hell that's even about.
Maybe crabs are orange and you're ginger.
Maybe.
That's gotta be it.
Maybe, but
You do walk sideways quite a lot.
but sometimes people say, you know, change it to Steph's Got Crabs or Steph The
Oh.
Crab. Yeah, that sort of thing.
That's nice. Yeah, that's good.
But my subscribers are called crabs, so technically maybe I do have crabs.
Well, that's what it does work, I suppose. You know, at least you can carry them all around with you. So, what do you kind of what do you do really on your?
Just very random stuff. That's what my vibe has and always will be. It's just you get a lot of different YouTubers that do maybe beauty, challenges. You also get people to do games. I want to be able to do anything. You know, just keep it random, keep it strange.
Yeah, just do what you fancy, really.
Exactly. If I want to recently I'm thinking about doing a challenge where you have to swallow hot dogs whole. If I want to do that, I'm going to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though it might be a Brazzers theme.
I was gonna say you could get a lot of gifs out of that.
You probably could do.
Yeah.
But
Fair enough. I've seen you because you've done. I've seen you do a couple of challenges. There's been a few unboxing things of like you get these random boxes of cool stuff like what was it, like Japanese loot crates and that sort of
yeah,
thing.
it's like a kawaii box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen you. Did you do the cinnamon challenge at all? I know that was ages ago.
Oh no, I didn't do that. I did Chubby Bunny though. That's one
yeah.
of the old school ones.
How many did you manage to fit in?
I think I did 11. I think.
That's pretty good.
Not too many. It was a bit weird at the end. You know, I just got a bit foamy. I looked like a rabbit with myxomatosis. I didn't look right.
That's
so,
pretty.
And
That
it
should
spat
have been.
out everywhere.
Oh yeah, I've done. I think the only times I've done Fluffy Bunny or Chubby Bunny, whichever one you meant to call it, is when I've been intoxicated. So it's normally I'm drunk and it's like, you know what's a good thing to do when you're drunk? Shove loads of marshmallows in your mouth. I don't know how many I managed to fit in, but I can fit my fist in my mouth. So yeah,
Oh.
I know. I have a huge mouth, unfortunately.
That's probably not the best thing you want to say to maybe some weird guys on a night out.
Well, that's the thing. You know, it's like
I can fit a whole fist in my mouth. What else can I
I could
fit
put
in?
a lot more in that than for you, darling. So, okay, I'm gonna just back away slowly. Yeah. So, what made you kind of? How long ago did you start off the YouTube thing?
Oh, it was only May 2016. I really wanted to do it years ago, and I wish I did it earlier. But it started off with me just doing a blow up doll. I videoed myself blowing up a man with a giant 10-inch penis.
Okay.
And it was kind of funny. But then I realised with YouTube, the whole ad thing going on at the moment, how everyone's got to be family friendly.
Yeah.
I've kind of started to try and tone down things a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, they've gone quite liberal with a lot of the YouTube things.
They have done.
Because I used to be like super into YouTube, like around because a lot of people who are listening probably don't know this, but I was on YouTube for a while. What's it on YouTube? Like I was some sort of big thing. It wasn't anything like that. Me and Reese, who's been on the podcast, we did Visual Digest, and we just did. It was like kind of news and sketches kind of mixed together, and yeah, we did that for. It's about a year, I guess. We didn't do it that. We didn't release them
When
always
it was like
regularly.
2011 or something.
It was around that time. I think I was in college. It was first/second year of college, I believe.
Yeah.
So how long ago was that? I mean, I've been working now for 5 years, so that was
7 or 6 years.
So I think you're about right, actually. Yeah, because 7/8 years ago was when we last spoke,
Yeah.
which was 2011. So yeah, I think 2011, 12-ish is around the
It's
time.
crazy how time
Yeah,
goes.
madness. But yeah, so I did Visual Digest for a little bit, but because me and Reese did it, obviously where there's two of you, you always have to make sure your schedule's on the right time and all that sort of thing, so it kind of just fizzled out, and Reese now works in a school. He's an IT technician.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and he's doing really well for himself. But he a lot of his students started finding some of the videos because if you typed in Reese Willis,
Oh, I
then
guess you have to be careful.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there was nothing inappropriate or horrendous on there. It was just it's quite embarrassing because it was just us being 15, 16, 17 sort of age, just recording ourselves doing stupid things. And I don't care. I'm fine with it, but. I've watched a couple of those videos now, and you go back in it, and it's like, that was only 6 years ago, and it's so embarrassing. It's so cringy.
But everyone's all changed since then.
That's exactly it, yeah.
Like I can see that you have lost a heck of a lot of weight.
I used to be very overweight.
That's amazing. Well
Yeah,
done.
thank you.
Honestly, that's amazing.
Yeah, I used to be quite overweight, but yeah, it's just one of those things. I kind of moved out, and I was just like, through college, I lost a bit more weight as well. I decided to start losing weight around college time, mainly because I was single and couldn't get a girlfriend, and I was like, and it didn't occur to me at the point that I was an asshole. It was more of my looks. So I lost a bit of weight, and then nothing really changed. I was like, okay, maybe. Just maybe I'll stop being a dick to everyone I know. And as soon as I did that, I think within about a month of me thinking that, I ended up dating someone. So, it did work. And then, whereas I've moved away from home 3.5 years ago, I've been able to manage what I eat a lot more. And like when you live with your parents, like my parents were lovely and obviously they did spoil me a bit, but they bought biscuits and chocolate all the time. And when you're, younger and you can just go in the cupboards and get infinite chocolate or biscuits, you do that. Whereas now it's, if I don't buy it, I won't have it to eat. So I have like a Friday's my cheat day. Is just on Friday I come in from work, the guys come over, we have a few drinks, and then I just eat whatever I want. It's normally just one big bag of Doritos and a big Dairy Milk Oreo bar. That's normally it. But
Oh wow.
yeah, I'm weirdly routined in some ways.
Oh, well, at least you probably eat better than I do. I had a bunch of, I think I was eating Nutella out of a jar when I got here. But before I got here, I was eating Nutella out of a jar like I was some homeless person.
I don't know, Nutella's pretty premium. I think you wouldn't be quite that homeless. I think you're like slightly above homeless.
A
Maybe
bit
like crack
premium,
house.
yeah.
Crack house, I would say.
Crack
yeah.
house, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the problem is, like, you're eating there, you're getting out the spoon, you're eating it, and it's all around your mouth, so it looks like you've been doing some sort of scat porn, you know what I mean? It's like, it's really bad.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend eating.
I've got a Nutella spoon, which has got a little squirrel at the end of it, and it's like a completely
Aw.
unsharpened spoon. I'll have to show you. No, it's a knife.
Unsharpened?
I meant knife.
Oh,
It's a
okay, I was
it's an
gonna say,
unsharpened.
what?
It's so flat and so spoon-like, but it's meant to be a knife.
Oh.
But yes, a Nutella spoon knife. God dang it, I'm terrible here. But I used to have Nutella all the time. I used to just devour that stuff. Yeah, just get home and be like, kind of fancy a biscuit and some chocolate. Okay, I'll just dip the biscuit and scoop like a massive bit of chocolate out. There's like twice as much Nutella as chocolate. I'll make like Nutella sandwiches, and the Nutella is thicker than both slices of bread. That sort of stuff. But yeah, it's quite weird. I've been trying. I didn't used to like a lot of food. I used to be very fussy, and so I've been trying to eat lots more things. Like, have you been eating any weird stuff recently, or tried anything like that?
Oh, I did a series on my YouTube where I ate bugs.
That with no context. It was just
No,
brilliant.
I just ate bugs. I ate fried frogs, and I also ate fried were they crickets? They were grasshoppers.
Oh, okay.
I do have some more stock footage, shall we say, lined
Oh, okay.
up.
So you got some more lined up.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. I've got quite a few. Well, with podcasts, there's for a while I had about 6 or 7. Like I was like way ahead, and then the Christmas period hit, and obviously I wasn't really recording with people. I was chilling out, and I've just slowly kind of caught up myself. So this is probably going to be released. Generally, it depends how long it'll be. It'll be released in 1 or 2 parts potentially, and it'll probably be released on Sunday if you're game with
okay.
that. So it's just like,
Oh no, it's fine.
yeah. There's normally I'll release it. Like there's been a couple that I've recorded loads in a row, and then like one of them I recorded at the end was about a band, and they had an album coming out, or an EP rather, and that was Callum, and I released that immediately. And then there was a podcast that I recorded just after that I done, which I was talking about that podcast, so I released that next, and it ended up being, there's a podcast I did with my mate Bradley, and I recorded, that was like the 4th podcast I think I've ever recorded. It was like the 12th one I released. So when it comes to that sort of thing, I understand the whole like staggering footage and stuff. I get that. With some of the weird stuff though, yesterday I had I tried these when I was over my friend Zoe's place. We were trying, it was a chickpea and sweet potato pie.
Oh, that
which
sounds
is
quite nice, actually.
Yeah, that was nice. And then these, because I've been buying a few. I'm not vegetarian, but I've been buying a couple of vegetarian vegan things from Tesco to give them a go. There's some Mexican vegan burgers, and they are lush. They're beans. They're like refried beans in breadcrumbs. They're amazing. And
That does sound actually quite nice.
they're really good, surprisingly, and not expensive. It's like £2 for like 4 of them. But oh god, I tried these things last night, and it's kale, pumpkin seeds, quinoa, and beetroot, and it was horrendous.
Was that all in one go?
It was. It's like they get it all together to kind of make a patty out of it. Like you cut it in half, and there's like bits of beetroot. There's little lentils in it. There's pumpkin seeds and that sort of thing. That was awful.
God! It sounds like a failed McDonald's burger, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
That sounds awful.
It kind of looks like in SpongeBob. There's an episode where they have the nasty patty, and they just put all these random horrendous stuff into this burger
and
then
like that.
serve it. Yeah, it looked just like that. So what about so with your YouTube stuff? Like, what if you had to say describe to someone, if you wanted to market it to someone, if you just wanted to kind of make almost a promo, what sort of things would you say? Like,
well, first of all, I would say that some of it is very inappropriate.
Okay.
I try and be as friendly as I can, but there's a lot of sexual innuendos. I'll tell people that obviously to watch with caution, because I come across sometimes, especially at work, as a very sweet little girl.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the last 2 jobs I've had in the last 2 years, when I started my YouTube channel, people at work have found my YouTube channel before I've even started.
Wow.
And the manager of where I work now is laughing at my videos and is showing it to his niece and everything.
Oh,
you
wow.
know?
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so you've got to, with YouTube, you've got to be careful, because I remember one time I worked for a company that was very on the ball.
Right.
With social media and stuff.
Yeah.
And if they found out I had been doing YouTube videos and doing what they call probably inappropriate stuff, I would have got sacked straight away. So you've got to be careful with the job that you do, that everyone knows this is me, I am weird. Exactly.
All the best people are weird.
All the best people are weird.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like
We're strangers.
Well, that's the thing with this podcast. I mean, fortunately, my work's fairly liberal in the way that it's like, get your work done, don't be inappropriate to customers or talk to people on the phone in a bad way. But like at my work, they let me swear, or they let everyone swear, not just me. I'm not some sort of special, just Michael. He can swear. No one else.
Because they think you've actually got Tourette's. You just haven't, told them that you don't.
Just yelling swear words randomly at customers. But with this podcast, I'm fine with anyone to listen to it, because there's no opinions I have on here that I don't talk about. I'm not willing to discuss.
Exactly.
I have opinions on certain drug laws, like cannabis, for example. As I said, my dad died of cancer, and I feel like if cannabis was at least medicinal, it could have at least eased the suffering and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
And a lot of the documentaries I've seen about cannabis and this sort of thing is the whole legality thing is a big, massive debate. And I think at some point in the podcast I'll end up talking about drug reform.
Oh, that's okay.
But like that would be another big podcast. I'll probably do like a whole thing about it. But with that, like, even though I do believe that, if someone at work asked me, I'd say that. But you can't just walk around work saying, I think that weed should be legal. Because then everyone goes, well, you're a stoner then. And if you're a stoner, that means you're bad. It's like, well, no. Just because I say I think cannabis should be legal for medicinal purposes does not mean that I smoke it. And also does not mean that I'm, like, condoning every drug being completely legal.
No, exactly.
So, apart from that, I'm generally, with everything else in the podcast, it's just fine. It's quite nice having a job where it's respected. Like what jobs since leaving school? What are all the jobs that you've had?
Okay, let's do. Actually, this makes me sound like I'm somebody who can't keep a job. I can do, I promise you.
Yeah.
So my first ever job, I worked in a care home.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wiping old people's asses.
I see. Yep.
It wasn't the best, so I left.
Okay.
I just don't want to be an arse wiper anymore.
That's understandable.
Normally I'm an arse licker, not an arse wiper. And then I went and worked at Primark for 2 years. That was a bit strange.
Yeah. Did you have any crazy stories from Primark?
Oh yes, I had one where I got called up to the manager's office because I had two gentlemen come in.
Yeah.
And they were of an Afghani race,
Right.
and obviously their English was quite bad, bless them, and they
Yeah.
were asking for a jacket that was puffy.
Right.
And I said, do you mean a bomber jacket? Now,
Right.
they thought I meant a jacket to bomb people. They thought I was making a racist slur.
Oh,
And
okay.
I got called up to the management saying, did you call one of our customers a terrorist? And I was
Oh,
like, I
Jesus.
didn't.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I promise, it's called a bomber jacket. And they're like, no, it's called a gilet or something. I was like, oh, I've always called it a bomber jacket.
I've only heard it be called things like bomber
And
jacket as
now
well.
I feel like I offended somebody, and I was
Oh,
just
wow.
like, oh god, like that's probably the most craziest we've ever had there. And we also had a man that had a heart attack, and he was carrying a bag of shit around with him.
Right.
Yeah, the lady come and gave him his Tesco bag that he left on the floor, to give it to the ambulance, and it was this bag of shit. She drops it in this bag of shit. I don't know why he had a bag of shit on him, but
People are very strange.
Hmm.
When I worked in HMV, there's a couple of people who were notorious almost customers, because there were certain people who, obviously some would have mental disabilities and stuff, and it's not fun, not to poke fun or anything, but like they'd come in and they'd say, just they'd smell quite strange, there'd be something off about them, and they'd say loads of weird things, and then they'd spend just hours and hours in the same areas in the shop and stuff, and it's like sometimes it gets to closing time and you're like, you can't actually get customers out until it gets really far behind. Normally you just have to kind of wait, and if they're there 15 minutes after closing, you just have to wait. But sometimes you get these people in there, and there was a guy with a cowboy hat who he would just he would pick up about like 20 DVDs and then just go to the counter and just ask about every single one of them, and normally buy like one. And he'd just do that all the time. And when I started working there, because I worked there for about 4 months after college, as a Christmas temp, before I got my apprenticeship at Band CDs, and it was, they would be like, oh, watch out for the cowboy. And I'd be like, why? And he's like, because if he starts talking to you, you can't escape. And he'll just talk to you about everything all the time.
cowboy.
Yeah, because he just always wore a cowboy hat. And there's just no reason or anything to it. He just always did that. And where'd you work after Primark and stuff then?
I worked. Then I left Primark. I went and worked in IT support.
Okay.
And half the time I was out telling everyone just to turn it on and off again.
Yeah.
That's just basically what
Reese
I
has said the amount of times that works is actually like quite surprising.
Yeah, I didn't know how to do it. I was only really there, and I had people that was a really weird job because it was mainly male orientated, and there was only 2 females that worked there on our department.
Yeah.
And I remember I had a man that was messaging me on a little group chat that we had within the work.
Yeah.
That he had a boner under the table, and that I don't know, it was really strange, and it was a strange job, and I was only in that job for 3 months because I was like, this is shit, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
These people are so weird, they might as well, they should have been walking out with their boners out, because for some reason it was a very sexual place.
I thought workplaces do get a bit like that. They get some sort of weird vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Like then I went into doing worked for GS.
That's
got
funny.
into hot water with social media, so I got sacked.
Oh, wow.
And then I went into insurance and did debt collecting for a year.
Yeah.
But that was a very sexual place. Everyone sort of
I've
boned
heard
each
that
other.
insurance, like I work obviously as a broker, where I haven't necessarily got the vibe. Maybe they're all doing it behind my back, and I'm not getting involved because I'm not the cool kid. But I've heard from, because most of the people who work at the place I work at now, they've had a lot of experience in insurance before, whereas I didn't at all. And a lot of them said, yeah, you come from places where all the staff they've got partners at home, but they'd all fuck each other.
Oh, Jesus
And the
Christ.
partners would never know about it, because obviously, if you think about it, like, not all the time, but a lot of the time when someone cheats on someone, the way the person who's being cheated on finds out is from someone else.
Exactly.
But if everyone's all in on it, then everyone could cover each other's tracks all the time. And if you're fucking people at work...
What, were they just doing like a whole orgy thing?
Well, I don't know if it was an orgy. I think it was more kind of like they would not all necessarily get together and
I
all
was going
fuck.
to say, where is this place? Sign me up.
I think it was like there'd be like, say, I don't know, 10 women, 10 men, and they would have all each kind of had sex with each other at some point. So like
sloppy seconds.
that kind of thing. I imagine it was like a work do, and then Janet would get with Bill, but then the next
Oh,
work
that
do,
sounds like a
Bill would
very
get with
sexy duo. Janet and Bill.
That's it. That sounds like
I'm sorry if that's someone's parents, by the way.
that probably is someone's parents. That's very parent names.
They are.
It's weird though, because when Callum brought up a good point when we were talking about names a while ago, because all my conversations are super interesting, and we were talking about names and how names like Gretchen are really old person names and things like that, and Alfred and things like
But I
that.
would think someone Gretchen also sounds like someone who'd be quite hot. A
Yeah?
girl that was into her books, but probably sucks dick like a pro.
Oh, that sounds good. And then again, Gretchen, I think I've never
Everyone
met...
needs a Gretchen.
I
in their
don't think I've
life.
ever met anyone called Gretchen, but I know there was a girl called Gretchen in Recess, the Disney
Oh
cartoon
yeah,
show.
the spoon-faced girl.
Yeah, she was very strange. I don't think... I can't say that I had any real attraction to her. I didn't really have any crushes to anyone in Recess, but I think Spinelli, I think, was the...
What about cartoons though? You must have that sort of attraction to a cartoon character.
There's two, and a lot of people listening will agree with this. Is Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger
yeah,
Rabbit?
but she's hot anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And
A
Lola
rabbit with
Bunny.
tits.
Lola Bunny.
You
from
love your rabbits, don't you?
Lola Bunny from Space Jam. Like, I'm not saying that I ever touched myself inappropriately to her, but when I was younger
I have.
watching Space,
I'm joking.
when there's just something about her. She looks. There's quite funny. Do you know who Natalie Dormer is? She's an actress who played Marjorie in Game of Thrones. And
Oh, yep.
there's pictures of her online next to Lola Bunny, and her face expression is very similar to Lola Bunny's. It's quite funny. And I remember seeing that and go, oh no, because I've really fancied Natalie Dormer. And I saw that and I was like, I haven't seen Lola Bunny since... I've actually got Space Jam on Blu-ray, actually. And I haven't watched it in ages, but I saw there was something on Reddit and people were talking about, I think, cartoon characters they sleep with, and someone mentioned Lola Bunny, and it was like one of the most top rated things. It was like something about that cottontail, and it was like, I was thinking about that, and I had a conversation with the guys.
You're into furries.
Oh, not quite.
I'm
The guy said that to me, and because I said, I was like, would you guys fuck Lola Bunny? And they were all like, no, obviously not. And I was like, maybe I would. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I think if she was somehow 3D but cartoon, it would be okay. But if it was like someone who's literally anthropomorphic, like a human but all furry and like a rabbit face, like Hermione in Harry Potter 2,
Oh, yeah, what, when
like
she's a cat?
That's awful.
Oh,
That is
no.
but that as a rabbit would not be sexy. That's terrifying and freaky as hell. So I would definitely wouldn't want to do
That's
that.
a bag over the head job.
That is, yeah, that would be...
Just pretend it's somebody else.
Yeah, but then again, she'd be furry everywhere,
Oh,
you know, and I mean
yeah.
everywhere, you
Yeah,
know. So that's furry legs like a carpet. It's like,
No, maybe not. I know that some girls have the times, especially when it's winter and they have, just can't be bothered to
insulation,
shave their legs.
nice amount of insulation.
Exactly. We've all done it here. All females have.
Yeah.
But then having a full body full of
Fur,
you
yeah.
feel like you're fucking Harry and the Hendersons. Really, wouldn't you? Imagine that, a big Sasquatch on you.
Oh God,
Oh,
yeah,
God.
that's not a fun time.
Sounds like my ex.
There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of women and a lot of guys, I suppose, that like hairy dudes. You know, the bear is the gay. I called Bradley, my mate, a bear in one of the podcasts. And he was like, I just want to clarify, everyone, I'm not a gay hairy man. But, some dudes are quite hairy. And when I was, this was about 2 years ago, when I was with my girlfriend at the time, she really likes long hair and beards. And I just grew my hair really long and grew like a really big beard. And I was a really hairy bloke for like a year, just because.
Because she went to fuck Hagrid.
Pretty much, yeah. That's it. Who doesn't want to fuck Hagrid?
Oh,
you know?
I don't know.
He
Imagine
would,
that.
I think he
I
would.
should not have said that.
He's so big though. I just imagine his cock being like an arm.
Oh, his balls going on you. Oh, imagine that, like a
They'd be
wrecking ball.
huge. They'd be like grapefruit. Like
Oh
two
my God.
huge grapefruit.
Cantaloupe.
Oh god. Yeah. I don't-
Hagrid's cantaloupe balls.
Oh man.
But to be honest, I don't think there's any cartoon characters that I would do. I must admit, for some reason, this is a really weird one, especially that he's dead now. But I used to have a little crush on Gene Wilder back in the day.
Really?
I don't know what
Was that
it
from Willy
is.
Wonka or from other things?
I think
or-
it's probably from See No Evil, Hear No Evil. I don't know why. I
Yeah.
really don't know why. Because that's very strange.
What about like early like celebrity crushes? Like my first, I'll say there's two. Okay, there's gonna be too much information for a lot of people. My first erection that I remember was Jessica Simpson. These boots are made for walking.
Oh, that was my first erection too.
I think I was like, it was primary school, and I don't know when that came out. I'll have to look it up in a minute, but I think I must have been about 9-ish. And I just remember watching the video and being like, there's that scene where she's in the video where she's scrubbing herself with soap and cleaning the car. And I'm watching this going, I fucking love this. I don't know what. Well, I was 9, so I didn't swear. I was like, I really, really like this. I don't know why. I don't know why I like it so much. It's just really good. And now I look back and go, oh, because it's a really attractive blonde woman covering herself in soap. I mean, that's clear. And then a favourite crush, like proper, was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but
Oh, yeah.
not actually Buffy.
Oh.
Funny. I do now. I fancy Buffy a lot more. Sarah Michelle Gellar, but it was her friend Willow, who's played by Alison Hannigan.
Yeah.
Who's also for people who don't know, Alison Hannigan. She's in American Pie.
Oh,
she's,
yeah.
She's the girl who has the flute up.
Was one time at band camp, I
Exactly.
shoved a flute up my pussy.
And the funny thing is,
that
you're
one.
ginger, so you're doing
Yeah.
that's a good impression.
You can always trust a ginger to be weird. And
That's
lower
it.
the
That's how you do
tone.
it. That's the coolest people.
I think that's probably what I based my whole vibe off of. She
Just-
was like the most ultimate
Yeah,
funny.
well, she's
ginger.
funny, cool. Well, it's also like, what were you before we get into this? What were your favorite? What were your first sort of apart from Gene Walsh? What were your any celebrity crushes at all?
Okay, so I used to be into my first ever celebrity crush was Noel Fielding. I used to
Okay.
be into the long hair,
Yeah.
the emo sort of style look with the the under the eye makeup,
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
like that. And now over the past 3 years, well, not 3 years, probably since been my boyfriend about 6 years, I got something called Asian persuasion. So I started fancying people of Korean, and
Okay.
Thai and Japanese. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Maybe I just heard that song turn in Japanese, and then that's it.
Maybe
I
that was it. It just
decided to
turned you from there.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
maybe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think what someone because there's quite a few women that I was like in love with Scarlett Johansson for quite a while. Like during college, I was just something about her. I was always like I was in love with her essentially, but for not like true love or anything ridiculous like that. But it was just like I just fancied her so bad.
Oh.
And she's my number one for ages. Now it's more just like who isn't on the list. Like probably Helen Mirren. That's about it. Like probably the only person who's a celebrity I wouldn't sleep with, but well, only female. I should pretext that. I talk with
Donald Trump. You want to bang
Oh
Donald
God, no.
Trump?
Well, actually, I would not want to have sex with Donald Trump mainly because I'm a heterosexual male who doesn't like sleeping with men. But I do think that a really flamboyant, like Louis Walsh. I'd love to see Louis Walsh fuck Trump. That would be the funniest thing on the whole world.
And Graham Norton just sat there eating a sandwich while wanking off.
That'd be good as well.
Them.
Just that, yeah, that would be it.
That'd be such a good porn.
That I don't know if I'd watch that porn.
I wouldn't watch it, but it'd be like the scene in Pulp Fiction when they got the ball and gag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a bit like that. So Donald Trump doesn't actually want it.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Actually,
You're talking about raping Donald Trump. Okay.
I just realised.
Donald Trump with a ball gag being fucked by Louis Walsh while Graham Norton watches wanking eating a sandwich.
Yeah, and it's got to be like a spring onion sandwich.
It's got to be spring onions.
Yeah.
So he's got the proper breath as well. Spring onions and garlic. Yeah, okay. That's good. Yeah, that's a good image. Among the smell of fake tan, hairspray, and I think with Louis Walsh, glitter. Then it's
Exactly.
just-
I bet
and
he
sweat.
comes glitter. I bet Louis.
That's
Walsh does.
impressive to see. That would be, I think, very painful to have done, like having glitter shoot out you.
Oh, but it'd be so beautiful though, wouldn't it? Imagine that. If everyone cum glitter, that would be Instagram. Every time I had cum on my face, I'd be like,
That would be good. The funny thing is if you're having sex and you both come at the same time and just glitter shoots. If you come at the same time, confetti as well, just confetti and glitter. That would be amazing. That'd be so much fun.
that would be so beautiful.
That would be.
That would be better than the New Year fireworks.
Oh yeah, just everyone
That
goes
would
has a
be.
wank in the garden and shoots confetti.
That sounds like something that should have really beautiful motivational music over it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that would be it. Just like really, it's piano and it just builds and builds and builds. And it's more and more, and everyone's like cheering. It's like everybody have a good time, everybody. And just confetti everywhere. That'd be it.
Oh God.
It would funny because it'd like when you had when you have sex when you're younger, when you're like when you live at home with your parents or teenager or anything like that, and you obviously have to try and hide it a lot more, and like hiding cum generally is quite easy.
In a sock.
Some guys have it in a sock. There's someone I know who I won't name, but I know who had I think it was a cum towel and a cum t-shirt.
Yeah. Everyone has cum towels.
I don't have cum towels.
Don't you have it when like you come on the girl? I've had it so many times where my boyfriend's come on me or he's come in me or whatever, and he's just gonna got this green towel on the side of his door and he's thrown it at me because it's gonna gloop everywhere like a soap dispenser. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, well, it's weird.
And you always get the wet spot as well. And then if you're a gentleman, you need to sleep in the wet spot,
Yeah.
even though it's a lady's mess. You need to sleep in the wet spot because then you're being a gentleman.
My buddy, I think I spoke to you briefly about him the podcast before this podcast. My buddy Tom, he and his girlfriend Laura, they call that the cuddle puddle. How fucking brilliant is that for a name?
That is such
That's
a
perfect.
good name.
I just want to spread the word. Just say
Aw.
Tom Guilford and Laura Smith came up with the greatest word for that
That
ever.
is so cute.
It's great, isn't it? Just the cuddle
Oh,
cuddle.
that is actually really cute. That's
Yeah.
cute, but
He did also say that rape is a struggle cuddle, which is not
oh
quite...
my god,
It's kind of like... That's a little bit bad, isn't it? Like, he's not condoning rape. I don't want to start just talk about
yeah,
all
it's
these
just
people.
about rape, yay!
Yeah, just, you know, my mate Tom, he's really into rape. So, no, he's a good guy. He's definitely into that. But, yeah, so the cuddle puddle.
Puddle puddle.
Well, I'm trying to think... No, because a lot of the time, if I'm with a woman and I'm over their house, they pretty much always have wet wipes.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
Oh.
so they have wet wipes to clean themselves up. And
Oh, I
it's-
mustn't be a female.
I have tissues in my drawer. I use. I don't have a towel.
Oh, but no, that would. If you have tissues though, that must get like when you
Flaky.
get yeah.
I have to get good quality tissues because when I first moved out and stuff, I just got value tissues.
Oh no.
Have a wank to myself, and then I wipe the. I'm laying in my filth and sweat and disappointment. And every guy knows that when you're having a wank, it's like this greatest thing ever. As soon as I'm finished, I'm gonna just go again. The moment you finish, it's like, and you go nope. And it's immediately looking down at yourself with your becoming more and more limp dick in your hand, and your legs that
like
are
a
slightly
sad
glazed.
worm.
Yeah, exactly, and it becoming more and more worm-like,
Oh,
and as it
God.
slowly goes into yourself in shame, and you've got your hairy, glazed with sweat legs and just semen on you, and it's like I feel gross. I almost regret it, but I don't because I'll do it again. And I use the tissue on it and whatnot. And then you just put it on there, and as you come off, because the tissue is like 3-ply, but it's really shittily put together, just like a cornflake size tissue thing gets stuck to your dick, and you're trying to peel it off the end, and it's really sensitive, and you're like, I just want to go to sleep now. I just want to get up, wash my hands, and go to sleep. But I'm trying to peel cornflakes of tissue off the end of my really sensitive dick, and it's like
Oh god.
yeah, it's a male. Males, I think, when they think of women touching themselves, is like. It's a very sexy thing, and obviously a lot of the time it's in porn
no,
and
it's
stuff.
not.
But you say that, but guys wanking is like, or maybe it's just because I'm a heterosexual dude, but like a dude wanking is just like I can just imagine like dudes are hairy and they get covered in sweat, and I can imagine. I don't personally grunt when I do it, but I'm pretty certain that a lot of guys do from what women have told me.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's the grunting, and there's like the hunching of the shoulders, and also it's all sweaty and hairy and stuff. It's like, like
Sounds gross.
yeah, the male
But-
form is not pleasant.
But to be honest, when girls touch certain things anyway, when girls touch themselves, obviously you see porn,
Yeah.
and they've got like a giant, massive vibrator thing,
Yeah.
and they're waving it around and everything like that. But literally with me, it's like 5 seconds, and then whoop, I've done it, got to the scene, got to the cum shot, and then that's it.
Wow. When it
Fair
comes,
enough. And normally I watch porn full of stories, to be honest
really,
with
a
you.
lot of women do that actually.
Oh, Fake Taxi's the funniest thing you're ever going to see in your life.
There's someone I knew. One of my exes, one of her friends was on Fake Taxi, and I could.
Was she on it?
Yeah, I can't remember what
Can
her
you
name
get me a
was.
hooker?
I'll help promote your YouTube.
I want my
Like,
fame.
YouTube in the day, porn up at night. That'd be it.
Exactly, that
Yeah.
sounds really good.
Wait, you'd probably make a lot of money from it, wouldn't you? That'd be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's oh man, I've lost my train of thought. I'm now thinking about porn. The stories and Fake Taxi stuff. See, with me though, with porn, I'm like, I'm really picky with my porn. There's a lot of porn I like, but it's the videos. Like for example, if the guy is making more noise than the girl, I can't watch it at all.
Oh
If
god, that's
there's-
annoying. That is.
There's certain shots they have which are just I don't know why anyone would want to see the male or female, but it's like where the woman's legs are kind of like in the woman's laying down, her legs are in the air. The guy's it's basically like missionary, but her legs are in the air. So I think it's called butterfly, and the angle is like under the guy. So
Yeah.
you just see the guy's
You
ass
just see big
moving
hairy
and
balls.
just doing that.
Yeah.
and it's just like. Is this sexy? You can't
No.
see pretty much any part of the woman. You see
when-
balls, which is the ugliest part of a
And
male.
as soon as the man speaks, you're like, shut the fuck up. Just
Yeah.
seriously, shut up.
Oh, it's awful.
Oh
yeah.
god, and another thing that I absolutely hate is when sorry if this is people's form of boxer shorts or whatever, but when people have boxer shorts that have really cringy slogans on them.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to read off your dick. You know what I mean?
I was thinking about maybe getting like an accordion tattooed on my dick. So like when it's small and shriveled, you just see it like the
That would
two
be
ends of the
beautiful.
accordion, and then as it grows, you see the middle bit come out. I'd never get a tattoo on my dick. That'd freak me too. I'm too freaked out about that sort of thing. But
Oh, but I've got a tattoo on mine. We could have matching.
God, but your dick's huge. Yours
My
is like
dick's
a massive,
massive.
it's like an
It's,
elephant trunk. you
Big
know.
hairy dick.
Oh God, that's awful.
Big hairy ginger dick.
That's scary and awful to think about.
Oh gosh.
Especially as people can't see you. Obviously, if you go on what is it? Steph is a crab.
No, Steph the Crab.
Steph the Crab. There you go. Steph the Crab. You'll see that Steph. What are you? 5'2" or something?
5'2", 5'3". I'm
Yeah,
not very
and
big.
you're like quite a small ginger girl.
Yeah.
So it's like you talking about your huge dick is scary.
Yeah.
Slightly arousing, but also scary. But yeah, with porn, I'm quite picky, and I end up going. I normally have like 4 or 5 videos, and I watch one for 2 minutes, and then the next one 2 minutes. Almost, yeah. But I don't have a Pornhub account or anything. I don't want to pay for it.
Oh, you should have a look at the comments on that though.
Some of them are funny. Some of the comments on it are things like, I saw one the other day, which was someone asking, "How do I level up this character in League of Legends?" And I was just like, I got my dick in my hand. I'm trying to jack off, but I saw that and I was cracking up, and I was like, "You've ruined my
I've just got
life."
to reply to it now because I know the answer.
Yeah, there's people on there who are like they do film spoilers in Pornhub comments.
Oh, yeah,
which
I've seen that.
I don't like spoilers. Spoilers really trigger me when it comes to films, but that is just hilarious. Just like just jacking off and you're about to come, and then you inadvertently scroll down a little bit, and then you see a spoiler to a movie you love, and it's like, oh great.
That's what someone said. Don't let this distract you from that Professor Snape dies at the end. And I was just like, what the hell?
Oh man.
And you're watching some woman getting like proper like penetrated and then deep throat fucked. You know what I
And
mean?
then you're just thinking about, oh Snape, what's happened to him? I can't
Oh
believe it.
no, I can't believe it. Oh, I had to question Professor Snape as well.
Oh,
but
did
then my
you?
ex looked like Professor Snape, and now I can't.
I see.
Can't ever.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a couple of women. There's women that I've dated. There was the first girl I ever dated. She only dated for like 4 days, and she was my first kiss. She was in college,
Aww.
and yeah, she had. I think she was naturally ginger, but she had like gingery red hair. And there's an actress called Christina Hendricks who's in Mad Men, and she's in a few other films as well. And after being with her, we only made out or anything. It was only when I was like 16. But after sleeping with her, I just had this weird thing for Christina Hendricks for ages. I mean, she's a stunning woman, but I think all the other women I've been with, most of them haven't been really compared to anything else. Really, I don't think I've really been compared. Seth Rogen,
You don't have to
JJ.
like Seth Rogen.
Not anymore. Back in
Back in the day, maybe, but
yeah.
you don't anymore.
I used to look like Jonah Hill from Superbad in school, like really, but with the Jufro and the double chin and that sort of thing.
But we've all sort of grown up. Is this
Oh, yeah.
called being an ugly duckling and then grown up into something amazing?
That's it. I call it that ugly duckling's a nice way of putting it. I call it late bloomer. And I think late when men and women are late bloomers, they're always way better, because if you're not immediately super hot when you're young, you have to develop a personality for people to actually like you. And like, but if you're just immediately super hot, not everyone who's been hot from when they were younger is excuse me, yeah, they're not all boring. There's a lot that are, but not all of them are. But like, when you're, for me, example, I was an asshole to a lot of people when I was younger, and I was very overweight and very unattractive, and so I had to get people to talk to me, I had to become likable, and I got bullied a bit in Chamberlain, mainly because I was an asshole and I was very fat.
Yeah, to be
Yeah.
honest, I think more or less, if you weren't one of these sort of certain type of people, you would have got bullied.
Exactly. I mean, I remember in Chamberlain, like, there was a gay guy I knew who I was friends with, and he got chased around the school with rocks. Like
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like about 6 or 7 chavs just chucking rocks at him because he's gay. And it's just like, the fact that even
so
happens is
backwards.
horrendous. Oh, it's
So backwards.
weird because being gay in England was only made legal, because it used to be illegal until, I think it was 1968 or 1970.
Oh,
It was
Jesus.
illegal when our parents were alive. I think how... Yeah, my mum was alive before that, so yeah. It was actually, they were alive at a time where being gay was illegal. And I just...
Yeah.
That's in our like almost a lifetime. That was, almost 50 years ago now. I was like, that even... I can't even fathom that. Like, obviously, they got the rights to get married a couple of years ago, which is fantastic, and they should have had it from the get-go, but I can't believe it. I just like...
People are so backward at school.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially school, because there's a lot of chavs and a lot
Just,
of...
I think,
sort of
it's sad, really, that the fact that we can sit and say that we got bullied. And
Yeah.
It's,
But it makes you develop, it makes you grow as a person, I find, like, with humour, I imagine you have quite dark humour as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But when you get... I found that when I got bullied and stuff, what happened was... I spoke about this a little bit with Tom on the podcast, so if anyone's heard that, apologies for repeating myself. But, like, I'd find that if you get bullied, and especially verbal, if you then take the piss out yourself, you can make jokes about yourself, you then become known as the funny one rather than the victimised one.
Yeah.
You develop a sense of humour, and people start liking you for that as well, and you kind of... that's how not everyone who's been bullied has a dark sense of humor. Not everyone who has a dark sense of humor has been bullied, but it makes it a lot easier, you know. Especially also when you've been bullied a lot when you're younger, you can have a lot of insecurity issues when you get older, obviously. But it can also help you be really self-critiquing and kind of self-reflecting because you've always had people almost pointing out your flaws for so long. When they stop doing it when you grow up a bit, you still kind of do it. So it can make you grow a lot. So it's one of those things where every horrible thing that's happened to me, including Dad dying, is like, it's all horrible shit, but the silver linings of it all is all that it's made me a better person because of it.
Yeah.
You know? And that's kind of... Life is all about the silver linings, and life's all about the moments. Like, a lot of life is really shit and horrible, like people dying of cancer here, there, and everywhere, and celebrities dying that you, like, have some sort of, you idolise them, and you think, this is my escapism, to just listen to Bowie, or Amy Winehouse, or Prince, or whatever, and then they die, and it's like, okay, there's that escapism gone, and then you go back to your home, and then your grandma's dying of cancer and shit, and it's just like,
no.
everything in life can be really horrendously brutal, but you have to find the light in it and find the silver linings to keep you on going. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, you know, a lot of the time with life, because it can be very difficult to see the silver linings when everything seems so shit, you know?
Yeah.
I have to grab a glass of water because my throat is... But we spoke about so many subjects and so many tangents. I'm trying to think what we could even pick up and pick out from then.
Well, to be honest with you, like we school was shit. We went to a school that was scum. Like it's really bad. But I mean,
Yeah.
we went to a school where, like, don't get me wrong, I feel like maybe I was a bit of a twat.
Yeah, I was definitely. But
But I don't feel like that's never an excuse to be mean or to bully anyone.
well, yeah, there's a line between, like, I was, my issue in school was I had an ego issue. I thought I was right all the time. I thought I was better than everyone in the sense that I was more intelligent than everyone. My
You
opinion
probably
mattered
were,
more.
to be honest with you.
I was fairly intelligent, but the problem was that when you're younger, and especially all your family and all their friends and stuff are always telling you that you're really clever and you could be a genius one day, you develop this ego problem where you do think that, when no, even the most clever 10-year-old, you know, is not as intelligent as like an average 30-year-old, mainly because of experience. You learn, especially socially, you know, you grow, you're always learning, you're always growing and stuff. And the main way you learn about people is trial and error. Like, relationships are a key thing of that, of you start dating someone, for like first relationships a lot of the time, some people when they date someone when they're young and they stay with them forever, and kudos to them. But a lot of the time you date someone younger and then you come out of the relationship and you go, man, I was a dick, you know, and you realise that the person you were dating was also being a dick. But it's like, because you're both young, you don't understand the dynamics a lot of the time between couples and things. It becomes this thing, but you learn. And I find with school and stuff, yeah, everyone being a dick and me also being a dick, I don't think I was ever like intentionally like really mean and like horrible and vindictive or anything like that. I never sought out and wanted to really hurt people. It was just, I thought I was right, people argued with me and I would patronise them because I thought I was so clever and I thought I had every answer on the whole fucking planet, that, you know. But like, there is a line between the people who are a bit dickish, who you can forgive and not worry about, but there were some people who were just awful. Just really horrendously bad people.
Really disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, there's people at our school just, yeah, I remember times when people just beat the shit out of each other and they'd be like bloody faces and all something
Exactly.
like that.
It was awful, and it was a point now that I remember when, I presume it was obviously when I started growing tits. I had a boy, and we had only been out of school for a little while, and a boy messaged me on Facebook. Someone used to severely bully me, and was like, "Oh, I think you're this, I think you're that," like talking, like, you know, complimenting me, I guess. But make sure you don't tell this boy or this other boy. Make sure you know, because it will ruin my bad boy reputation or whatever. And I just was like, what? But now I get the bullies and they're trying to send me dick pics. I've had a few dick pics from people that I could expose, but I've decided not to.
Yeah, wow.
But they were wankers. They were absolute wankers. Our school was full of twats. I'm not afraid. You know, I've had a couple of people apologise to me, which I have utmost respect for.
Yeah.
Because obviously there's no reason to ever make someone's life misery.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like we all grow from it.
Yeah, exactly.
We all grow from it.
You have to accept when people are... You can't hold a grudge against someone when they're, say, 16. If they're 20-something and they apologise and they go, look, I'm really sorry, you know, I was going through a lot of stuff at home or this, that and the other. It's no excuse, but I was really awful to you and I'm sorry. And it's like, I'm one of those people that once someone's apologised to me, 9 times out of 10 it'll be fine. You know, if someone's been a bit of a dick, if they just say, I'm really sorry, as soon as they said that, I'm like, okay, that's cool. And a lot of the time people will be like, I'm really sorry, I just did it. It's like, dude, you said you're sorry, I can see you're sincere, that's all I need. As long as you know that you've done something wrong, and you can apologise for it and say, I did wrong, my bad, that's it. That's the end of it. You recognise that, I've accepted that, let's move on. But you get sometimes when someone, like, if someone cheated on me, you know, then it wouldn't just be, I'm really sorry. Oh, fine, there's just, you know, there's certain things which I do, depending how big they are, you can't just one-off apologise for. But I do find that forgiveness is a very important thing, you know, not holding a grudge is toxic, you know, like, there are obviously certain people, like, if someone was horrendous to you, then you don't necessarily hold a grudge, you just know they're a piece of shit. And knowing someone's a piece of shit is different to holding a grudge, you know?
Yeah.
Holding a grudge is someone okay or nice did something horrible to you once or twice, and you don't forgive them. But then there's people who are just awful people, and you know they're awful, so you don't want to associate yourself with them. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's being human's weird, and social things. What's weird as well is I was thinking about this the other day actually, because I'm single, but like when I meet women, you know, and when they're single, obviously, getting the vibe is you almost can't explain it to someone. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I've ever made a move on anyone who. No, not to my knowledge, I've ever made a move on anyone that didn't reciprocate it. But it's like, it's one of those things that you almost can't explain to someone. This moment almost happens. You feel a vibe change, and then it just, smack. Yeah, then it smacks the mic, and that's it. That's the sexiness of it. But there's so many things in the human experience that are just so hard to explain to people. Love's a good one. You know, obviously you've been. How long have you been with your partner?
4 years, and yes, and that was a fucking on the first date as well.
Nice, nicely done.
Exactly, and it was supposed to be just because I've only ever been with 2 people sexually.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know, I speak like a porn star, I act like a porn star, but I'm not.
Yeah.
When it comes to that sort of thing, I'm actually quite timid. But yeah, I've been together for 4 years. It was supposed to just be a casual thing, and I guess it turned into a proper thing.
There's you know, I won't name them, but they that was a casual thing that turned into something else. In fact, I think pretty much everyone who's in a relationship around me, that's what happens now. Because I think what used to happen was you meet someone, you get to know them a lot, and then obviously depending on how far back you go, depends on how long you'd leave it until you have sex. Some people would be marriage, some people would be third date, these sorts of things. Now it's more like you fuck them first
To get to know them.
Yeah, and then once you've fucked and stuff, you're kind of like, well, that's all the sexual tension out the way. After you fucked, you can just kind of hang out and not
get
worry.
to know each other. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think on my first date with my boyfriend, I think he knew more about my left side of my face than he did about... Because I was just like this. He was driving me to the restaurant. We went to a sushi restaurant, which is kind of
cool.
funny for someone who's Asian. And my whole face was like to the window, and I was like, you know, afraid and everything like that. And then all of a sudden he took me to his place, and we weren't even intending to do anything, but then all of a sudden we just started fucking.
Yeah, well, that can happen, and like I've had it
Your dick's in my mouth, you know what I mean?
whoa, sushi, now there's people. It's I've had it before where like when I was online dating, because I'm not really on that anymore, I'm kind of taking a moment away from that. I can't really be asked at the moment.
Aww.
But yeah, it's just a lot of effort. But when I was online dating last year a bit, there was a girl that I mentioned to you before the podcast. I won't name her or anything, but we dated each other for 6 weeks. We never did anything physical, and it didn't work out. You know, there's no spark, which is completely fine. But part of me wonders, if we had slept together, would that have made the spark? I think now it probably wouldn't have done.
No.
But at the time I was questioning it. I was a bit like, is that, you know, that sort of thing. And then there was another girl who I ended up dating properly for a while, and we did stuff the first time we met after talking online and stuff, and we met up and we did stuff. And it's this weird thing where when you're with someone who's, say, obviously who you're attracted to, so obviously I'm a heterosexual male, so a heterosexual female, or bisexual female it seems to be. I don't think I've ever slept with a woman who's actually heterosexual, thinking about it. To be honest, I had a conversation with a lesbian girl the other day. I think more or less a lot of girls, because they're very flamboyant with their sexuality, I think there's probably
not many females who wouldn't say that they wouldn't sleep with another girl.
I think I can't remember the percentage, but there's a quite high percentage of women who have experimented,
Especially, come on, because girls are beautiful, girls are sexy. Like,
Yeah.
who wouldn't want to sleep with one?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's it. You've got what I've described. One of my favourite things about women is almost the softness sort of thing of the skin. It's just maybe it's because women are built in society expected to use a lot of hand creams and moisturize and look a certain way. Maybe that is a product of it, and maybe I'm not helping by saying this, but it's just the softness of the skin, that sort of delicate in a sense, you know. And I'm not a huge guy, but I'm bigger in a way, and when you're with a girl where this sounds really weird, it may freak people out, but like knowing that I'm so much stronger than this girl and she's trusting me to be gentle is such a weirdly attractive
It's beautiful in a way.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's beautiful in a way. Like, and I guess people get the vibe of it as well, that especially when you find a girl that maybe comes across timid or whatever, comes across like a princess, whatever you want to say, and then fucks like a porn star in the best bedroom. That's the best type of woman that you could ever get.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. It's funny. There's one of my female friends actually shared something on Facebook the other day, which was it was life's too short to not admit you like being choked during sex. And I was like, that's just brilliant. Like you know, I've been with seven women, I think.
Oh my god!
It's not that many.
You've turned into a gigolo since school.
I would have slept with a lot more women if women would let me. You know,
Oh.
it's if women would let me sleep with them, I'd be happily different one every night. But which is why I'm single. It's like when I'm in a relationship, it's just like
That's that one person.
exactly.
Yeah.
But when I'm single, because when I was first of all, when I was obviously younger, when we were in school and stuff, like there were people getting girlfriends and boyfriends, and I remember getting mocked in year 11 when I was 16 for still being a virgin.
Yeah.
And I was
yeah.
like, it's literally, we're like literally just at the legal age, and that's what kind of school we went to. Getting mocked for being a virgin when you're 16, it's like, what?
I got mocked when I was 13 for being a virgin, and they would say to me, "Oh, Steph, you're never gonna have a boyfriend. You're never gonna be loved, and everything like that." And I
I
was
used to
like,
get that
"Oh,"
as well.
I
Not
was like, "Oh,
Steph,
thank you."
Yeah, lovely people who are just toxic and they've got their own issues and they just project it on other people because they're so insecure.
Yeah, exactly, and at the end of the day, they're just wankers.
They are.
And they're probably the ones that are absolutely sad. They probably have a toxic relationship themselves.
Exactly, yeah. The kind of people who just exert negativity all the time are the ones that are the most miserable, you know? Excluding the outliers, which are people who... Robin Williams, for example, obviously everyone said he brightened up everyone's life. He's great, but he was really depressed. There's a lot of people who are super, super happy and bubbly who are really depressed. But the people who are actively malicious and horrible, and they're just miserable, you know.
Exactly.
You know, I've tried as I've gotten older to be a lot more positive, a lot more altruistic, and a lot more just nice to people, and you get it reciprocated back. If you just put a smile on and you're just a bit overly polite to more people, and you do a few more things for people that kind of put you out of the way a little bit, like give someone a lift or help someone move one weekend day. It's only a small thing. Like to you, but to someone else it can be a really big thing, and just all these little nice things you do to people. That's all you really need to have. If everyone was just a little bit nicer, the world would be so much a better place. But you know,
That's one thing I can't understand, is why some people are just negative in their nature. They're just malicious and nasty people, and they don't care about anyone but themselves. Like, I've never understood why people are like that.
Yeah.
Like, I might be one of these people that's like, oh, why can't everyone be nice to everyone? Everyone be absolutely lovely to everyone. But it's just wankers. I wish wankers didn't exist. But
well, it would be nice having a world without people who are just awful, but there are a lot of people who are like assholes or dicks. There's a lot of people from our school who
we've both said stuff that maybe we've actually been disgraced by.
Yeah.
Even if it's retaliating to somebody saying something to you on social media, and then you writing back.
Yeah. Everyone's been guilty of been that sort of thing. No one's a saint, but it is the line between. There's some people who are kind of dicks. There's guys I remember from school who they weren't bad people. They were just dicks. They just inconsiderate. Just didn't think about it. Yeah. And they just didn't think about it. But
and they've actually become good people.
Yeah, because they learn. And what a lot of people do. Another reason why, obviously, when you're a teenager, it's so hard because you've got the pressure from exams and the pressure from thinking about your future jobs, as well as hormones, social pressures, sex, your own body, all these sorts of horrendous, huge amount of things, and you're expected to know so much when you're so young, but equally treated like a child in so many ways, and all these sorts of other things. So when you come out of being a teenager, a lot of people are so self-reflective, they're a lot better now, and it's like, I just, like I said to you, it was like, I just found I was being a dick to everyone, and I was miserable because everyone was horrible to me all the time. I was like, as soon as I was like, I'm going to make an active effort to be nicer to people, as soon as that happened, my quality of life improved loads. I got more friends, I got a girlfriend, I've been every...
It's like, to be honest, it's like I'm even talking to someone completely different to what I knew in school.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's really weird. It's like you've totally changed your whole life around.
Yeah, well, it's taken a lot, you know.
You seem like a likeable person.
Now, yeah, I didn't used to be, yeah. It's a good thing, you know, at least I'm not unlikable now.
No.
It's just one of those where it just takes time. It takes time and things for people to shake the ground, essentially, you know. With me... in college, for example, you know, I won't name names or anything like that, but I dated someone and we broke up. It was a very, very messy breakup, like life and death sort of messy. That sort of seriousness of it. And from that experience, I learned that really changed me. That was when I was 16, I think, no, 17, just 17. And when that happened, and this huge big thing that was literally like a life or death situation, if anything had happened differently, someone could have died, sort of thing. And when that happened, it changed my perspective because it was like, okay, actions can actually have consequences. Like if I'm a dick to people, if I'm just a bit thoughtless and say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, really big things can happen. And that was the major event in my life that made me almost turn around from the journey I was taking. And obviously a few years off, still during college, the second year of college, that's when Dad got diagnosed with cancer. And obviously that's like, okay, that's a big thing. And, you know, watching one of your parents slowly deteriorate and your other parent trying to deal with it and all these sorts of other things. And like, it does make you grow and it changes perspective on stuff. And it's like, it's very cliche, but life is so fucking short. Why waste time being horrible to people? You know, if people are horrible to you and they're toxic in your life, unless they're like in a job and you can't do anything about them working with you, just don't hang out with them, you know. And if you find yourself, most people who are generally happy people will know this, where it's like, if you're just finding anger and hate and being a troll online or doing this or doing that, you will just be miserable because everything around you is negative. But when you give off good vibes, people reciprocate the good vibes. And then if you do something good for someone, you get the good feeling, but also you get the good feeling of them for doing something good, you know? There's few things better than doing something for someone and them just giving you a sincere thank you. It's just such a gratifying thing. And so many people just don't see this, and so many people are just so miserable like it, and they blame everyone else for everything. And it's just like, a lot of external factors are key in when you grow up and what kind of person you become, but you do have to take responsibility to a degree. You know, you do have to say, okay, maybe I wasn't personally, I want to clarify this, but maybe I was abused by my parents, or maybe this family member was absolutely horrendous to me and really destroyed me in this way, or like broke my self-confidence. But it's like, if you can have the strength, and everyone's got this strength within them, if people have got this strength to be able to push through it and fight, some of the best people I know are the people who've been through the worst shit in their lives, you know. So I think probably the nicest person I know was heavily abused by their parent and things like that, and had a horrendous life growing up. It was awful, but they're one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, and I find that a lot, you know.
Yeah, no,
it's perspective.
Exactly.
You know, it's. I mean, I've described myself as a pessimistic optimist, you know, or a realist, if you want to be specific. Just like, I kind of expect the worst, but I hope for the best, you know, or I hope for the best, but I prepare for the worst. So it's like, I really want everything to go smoothly, and I hope it can, but just in case it doesn't, I'm prepared, you know. And that's kind of how you got to live, because there's the line between being naive and thinking everything's always going to work out, and then there's also just being so pessimistic you're going to like shit on everything before anything happens, and then nothing's going to get achieved, you know. And it's great having people like you on the podcast, of just like the podcast, the tag is honest conversations with interesting people, you know. And the kind of almost subtle joke about it is everyone's an interesting person, you know. Everyone's passionate about something. Everyone's got some sort of insight into the world that other people don't have, some perspective. And it's just anyone being passionate about something, it's just when you talk to someone, even if you're not into it, but you see how passionate they are, and their eyes light up when they get to talk about this thing, and they get so excited. I love that, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the reasons I started the podcast, because even if no one, almost if no one else listens, just the conversations of talking to someone who's passionate about something they care about is the good, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's so interesting with conversations as well. You can go from one topic to another and how it goes into something else. I don't know what it is, just so like, wow.
Yeah.
I've never ever, like, it's the last time I've ever had a good conversation with someone.
Wow.
Ever, like.
Yeah. You have to come to the podcast more often then.
I should
Even when
do.
you move, just come back down. I'm always game for having repeat guests and stuff on there and whatnot. Like with because with you on YouTube, what a lot of people don't get, which is very impressive. Like, and that's the end of part 1. Thanks as always for tuning in, guys. To find out what my humongous breath at the end of that was leading up to, you'll have to tune in next week. If you enjoyed this week's chat, you'll basically enjoy next week's because it's much of a similar sort of vein of things. The subject matter does vary, but you know, me and Steph have a great time just chatting, and you know, she's just a lot of fun. She's a really nice, good person. So yeah, make sure you check out our YouTube stuff at Steph the Crab. I'll include all the links in the usual info places, and if you're watching on YouTube, in there as well. As I said at the start, if you get a moment, check out Young, Free and Coupled, the podcast, because, well, they're just both great people, great people, great podcast, you know, why not check it out? Yeah, I'll be back next week with part 2 of this as usual, and that's it really. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever if you feel like you deserve it. If you feel like you deserve it, if you feel like we deserve it, you definitely deserve it, just for listening. Thank you so much. I'm recording this very late, so I'm a bit tired, so I do apologise for all you people out there. Anyway, speak to you guys next week.